Tennessee's 2024 season came to an end on Saturday with a 42-17 loss at Ohio State in the first round of the college football playoff. And it feels like we learned a lot about just how far away the Vols are from meaningfully competing for championships. Hey, it's Lucas Panzica from 104.5 The Zone and A to Z Sports. So after reflecting on Tennessee's 25-point loss in Columbus on Saturday, I've come down to one major takeaway. Tennessee football is relevant again, but Tennessee football is not elite again, and that was apparent on Saturday night. Look, we knew coming into this game that Ohio State is one of, if not the most talented team in the country. The question was, which Ohio State will show up? Will it be the team that we saw for the majority of the season, the team that was a play away from beating number 1 Oregon in Eugene, or will it be the Ohio State that showed up in the regular season finale against Michigan, that lost in embarrassing fashion and could only put up 10 points in that game? Well, we got our answer. The best version of the Ohio State Buckeyes showed up on Saturday night to play Tennessee, and simply put, the Vols were outmatched. Put it this way, Tennessee was without SEC Offensive Player of the Year Dylan Sampson for essentially the entire game. He had 2 carries. Tennessee was banged up at wide receiver, yet it still felt like it didn't matter. The Vols couldn't affect the quarterback. Will Howard had the game of his career on Saturday. Tennessee receivers couldn't get any separation, and Tennessee's defensive backfield struggled to keep track of the elite stable of receivers that Ohio State has. Now, it's not the first time this year that we've seen that kind of gap in the game that Tennessee plays. We saw it in Athens when the Vols went down to play Georgia, a team that had its struggles, but without question is one of the more talented teams in the country and a legitimate national title contender. A similar thing happened in that game where the Vols were soundly beaten up front. They were gashed on defense and unable to play consistently on offense. Another thing those 2 games have in common is that they were both on the road, but there is no questioning the physical differences and the difference in talent level that was apparent in both of those games. Look, Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, his players, his staff, and this program as a whole deserve a ton of credit. They have pulled Tennessee out from the depths. They have pulled Tennessee out of the years of dysfunction that plagued this program. They brought Tennessee back to winning 10 games almost routinely 2 of the last 3 years, to knocking off Florida and Alabama on a more consistent basis. Those are all great things. But there is still a gap between Tennessee and the elite of the college football contenders that we see year to year. Tennessee is relevant again. Tennessee is not elite again. That will be one of the major next steps for Josh Heupel to figure out in his development as a head coach on how to get Tennessee back to that level. And this upcoming offseason will be a huge one for the Vols in that effort.